So hello and welcome to yet another video. This is Matthew Jones, and of course in our video today we're going to talk about case numbers, and generally we're going to talk about a lot of what you people for DV 2025 are asking. I have a lot of people asking me about case numbers, what it all means, when they're gonna get interviewed, and a lot of questions on the DS-260. So in this video I'm going to address on how to fill the DS-260, the most questioning people been talking about, and that's about, and also how to submit your DS-260. So make sure to stick to the end and see how you'll be able to submit your DS-260. Okay, and so before even we start, I would like to share my social media handles where you can reach me out, and you can see this is my Facebook page that goes by DV program updates, and also I have an Instagram page goes by the name same name. And now something, maybe for the first time I'm introducing this, I have a small website I just started a few days ago, and I'll be writing a couple of things down there, so if for those who don't like watching videos, they can have somewhere to refer. And of course you'll find the link on the description of this video. Okay, and the website goes by the name dvprogramnews.com. okay, so if you have any issue, just drop on the comment section. And of course I already posted some information there, and I know it will be of great help to many of you. So with that being said, in this video we're going to talk about how to fill the DS-260 and answer a couple questions about the education section, the mailing address, and of course how to sign and submit. Okay, let's jump to the other side. So welcome to the sample page for the DS-260. To start with, this is the getting started page. Remember, we are talking about different sections. Like the getting started is just about the introduction part, then the personal information, that's more about you, the address, this is where you are living currently and maybe where you'll be living when you are alive in the USA. Then about the family, that will be something to talk about your parents, your anything to do with your parents. Previous US travel, if you have ever been to the US, again you have to have some questions to answer, but if you haven't, you're gonna have to answer no to a lot of questions here. The petitioner, if you have someone who's petitioning for you, something to do with the security background check, most of these answers you have to go by no. And to the last one will be something to do with the social security number, and trust me with this, you're gonna say you need it, but anyway, we're gonna talk about it. Okay, so let's jump into it. We're gonna start with the first page, and it's about the personal information. Of course, you start with your surname. This is your last name, your parent name, the third name. You have to write it down there, then the given names. Then if you have a native name, go ahead and write it. If you don't have it, you just check them checkbox down there and you move to the next step. Then there's another question: have you ever used any other names? If yes, go ahead, just as I said about it there. The other question comes about the date of birth, date and place of birth. Of course, you know how to, and make sure you fill accordingly to how the questions come. Make sure you don't make some mistake, because many people do this. Birth, city of birth, if you're not sure, please confirm with your passport or your birth certificate. Go ahead and fill whatever is on your documents. From there, it's the state or province. If you're not sure, just check there. That box that talks about doesn't apply, and it's still fine. The country, you're gonna check the down arrow there, and you have a list of countries. Select your country. So that's an example, and we're gonna go to the second part, and this talks about personal information too. Country of origin, most likely to be your country where you're coming from. Then provide the following information about your travel documentation. Most of it will be the passport. So you're gonna select among the list that you're using, and maybe a passport. Then you have the document ID. You have to put your passport number, the country where the document was issued, select from the down arrow here, then the issuance date, and also the expiry date. Remember, you have to get your passport valid as you're filling this form. Do you have or held any other nationality other than the one you indicated above? If yes, go with yes and highlight it, and if no, you just go with no. Some of these questions are easy and very, very straightforward to answer. And trust me, if you have a problem, the section like many people get problems is on the education section and about the medicals, and I'll be addressing that in a few seconds. We're going to talk about this present and previous uh, address information. The present address information, this is where you are right now when you're applying for this, okay? Street, if you're not sure, you can use also those local, like your school address or something like that, church address or anything. Just fix an address on this. Mind you, they don't even use these address no more. They used to use them some years back. So just fill some address there, and in anything to do with the option, just leave it blank. There's no need to struggle with something that is option, okay? The other thing we're gonna talk about is the city. Of course, you know the city you live. If you're not sure about the province and the postal code, just leave it alone. About the country, you know, of course, when you started living there, maybe since when you are born, and previous address. If you have never been to, you know, different addresses, you don't need to worry about it. And also, if you ever lived like in different towns in your country, I'll go by just saying no. But if you've been to another country, especially another country, then you have to go with yes, and you have to add the other country where you used to live, when you used to live there, how long you lived there, and other stuff like that. Okay. So then phone number, which is already optional, you don't have to worry about those. Have you ever used other telephone numbers during the last 5 years? If yes, please go ahead and indicate it there. If not, you don't have to worry about it. Then the email address. Please make sure the email address you use on this section is very crucial. This is where they will be sending the other steps, the next steps after you submit the DS-260. This is the email they will use to send you the interview appointment letter. So make sure you fill the right email down there. From that section, they talk about the social medias. Of course, if you're in the social medias like Facebook and stuff like that, you have to put them down there. If you have extra ones, you have to just say yes and keep adding them. You don't have to worry about the link, whatever, just put the username. If you just use like just the name you use on Facebook, just fix it there, it's fine, okay? So the number of, accounts you have, keep adding down there. They have an endless list there, and it's still okay. So we come to the most crucial part here, and it talks about the permanent address information, okay? Mailing address. Is your mailing address the same as your present address? Most likely it's the same because you live the same place, okay? And now the permanent address. Provide the following information on where you intend to live when you arrive in the United States. This is very keen, and obviously this is where the host part comes in. You need to talk to your host and let him give you his or her address, and you have to fill on this. So the name, you don't have to, but you can do if you know the guy's name or you want to put the name. But the street address is very, very important. Of course, get all this information from your host, and that will be so helpful. The phone number, if you don't want to give it out, just click this one. Okay. Is this address where you want your permanent green card to be sent to? Yeah, of course. This is where you want, once you get to the USA, they will process your green card and they need to send it to you, but they're not sure where to send it to. So this is where the same address you want it to be mailed to. Or if you have a different one, you can say no and add the other address you want it to be mailed to, okay? So we keep going. And the other section I would like to address real quick is about the parents' information, and it's easy. Of course, your father, your father's name, surname. If you're not sure, just click on does not apply. Then you have to put the given names, the date of birth. But if you're not sure, again, go with the do not know. It's still fine. Place of birth. If you're not sure, there is always an option to say you're not sure. So it's do not know anything. If you're not sure, just go with do not know, okay? Is your father still alive? It's a yes or no. As we move on. Your mother, you have to do the same. And now we get to another section where we talk about family information and it's all about the spouse. And it talks about current spouse. And I mean, if you're not married, you don't have to worry about this. Of course, you'll go with single, so keep it that way. But if you're married, you have to put your spouse surname, given name, date of birth, and all her information. And also remember, you have to include all the is this information. But again, if you're not sure, go and just check do not know. The country of region, of course, that you already know. And spouse address, go with it. Just put, you can put the same as yours. There's no problem with that. Occupation, just there's a list of them. They just select one. It's not that important, okay? Date and place of marriage, of course, you have to put the date of marriage, city where you are married, the state, province. If you're not sure, just go with that. The country, of course, you know where it happened. Is your spouse immigrating with you to the US? It's a yes or a no answer. Is your spouse immigrating to the US on a later date to join you? Of course, it's up to you. You know well, and you know better than I do. So keep. From there we come about talk about, do you have any other previous spouses? If you do, you have to go with the yes and include them there, and maybe the reason why you divorced or whatever happened, okay? If not, go with the no and you proceed to the next section. So these questions are very straightforward, but I don't know, some people get so confused, but of course I understand. But if you have a previous spouse, that's where you say yes and put the information down there and everything will be still happy. And then you have to put the reason, or maybe how was your marriage terminated, why, how, and you have maybe to explain, okay? Then they come a question about children. Do you have any children? If yes, okay, you have to highlight them, all of them, okay? If no, you just go with no and keep moving. As we move on, there will be coming more and more questions and you have to. From that section, we jump into our previous US travel. I know most of you maybe haven't been to US, and this one, if you haven't, this will work so well with you because many questions will just have to go with no. Have you been to the US now? Have you been issued a US visa now? And many questions here will just be going at the same answer, going with it as no and no and no. So you don't have to worry about this. Have you ever been refused a visa? If yes, you have to write the reason why it was refused. I mean, if you ever applied for a visa, you have to say yes and why you were denied, okay? But it doesn't mean like if you ever applied for DV and never got selected, that doesn't apply here, okay? So you keep going and keep scrolling. There's a few. The other section we're gonna talk about is about the education, and this is the place where we all have a lot of questions as people don't understand. Okay, so work, education, and training, primary occupation. What do you do? At least on the list, if you click on the check down arrow there, there's a lot of you know related fields. Just try get a field that you are related on and just select it. And the other question is, in what occupation do you intend to work in the US? You can think of anything. Ask your host the most likely jobs you are likely to get in the US, as a beginner, and just select something on those checklists. It's not that, I don't think you'll be disqualified for having choose something like, you know, but anyway. If you're not sure, just go with agriculture. Go again, the primary occupation you tend to do in the US, go with the same, and there will be no problem with that. So the next section, and also it's very important, is about, the training and education and all that. So were you previously employed? If yes, go ahead, include the company's name and when you are employed and the end, I mean the dates you stop working from there. Then comes here another very crucial question. Have you attended any educational institution at secondary level or above? Of course, if you have been to college, universities, and above, so you have to include them there. If your high school is there, and it's still fine, don't worry about it. It doesn't mean like someone with a PhD and masters have a better chance than you know. All you're required is to have a high school diploma, or some people call it high school certificate, or the same as secondary school certificate. If you have that, then you're good to go. You don't have to worry about having higher education levels, okay? And now we head to another section and we are going to talk about any additional training, whatever things. And the question goes, have you ever traveled to any other countries, region within the last 5 years? This is very crucial. If you've been to outside your country in the last 5 years, of course, you have to say yes and include the country and the address and how long you stayed there and what you're doing there, okay? And remember, if you've been outside your country, or if you've been to a different country, they will most likely request for police clearance certificate from that country. So when you're filling this section, please be sure and make sure to get the necessary documentation for it, okay? Have you ever served the military? It's a yes or no question, so you don't have to worry about these questions. And now we come to the section where you go by yes or no question, and most of them there will be a no question. Have you ever traveled to other countries? Have you ever served in the military? Have you belonged to a contributor work to professionals? Whatever things. These questions, most of them will go by no, 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 no. But it depends with different people. But trust me, most of them will go by no. And it's fine, you don't have to worry about it, but make sure you read everything, everything they're asking about, so that you make sure you answer the correct answer to the respective questions. Now here comes another section where a lot of people be asking question about, do you have any communicable disease of public health significance such as TB? If that's not even our issue. The issue comes to these questions here. Do you have documentation to establish you have received vaccination in accordance with the US law? Of course, if you don't have it, most of you don't have it, so you can say no and explain and say that you are going to get all the vaccination required once you're scheduled for an interview. I mean, before your interview, you'll get them. I mean, you have to go for medical test before you go for the interview. So you can say no and say you're going to have them once you're scheduled for an interview. Or else you can go by an answer and say yes, because of course you will go and get the vaccination even before the interview. Okay? So it's up to you. You can say yes or no and explain your situation. Okay? The last but not least is about, have you ever applied for the social security number? If yes or no, and most of you is no. And do you want to have a social security number? Please say yes to this question. You need that one. It's a very important number, okay? So here comes the most section. So here comes the section where a lot of people out there have been asking about this, how to sign and submit. Okay. So when you're on this page, make sure you read through all this information. It's good to go through everything, but the key point is this. Make sure, of course, if someone applied for you or someone prepared this form, okay. But if you just did by yourself, just go with now. So the key part is about the e-signature here, okay. So many of you have been having problems on submitting. You try and you just keep getting errors and you get confused. So this is how you do it, okay. You come down here. You have to read all this information. Make sure you read everything about it. Then you have to enter your case number. Once you enter your case number, then enter your passport number. Then you have to put this number, whatever it's shown, and you have to make sure it's the right way. And this is where a lot of people don't get to know. So make sure you read on this, the female genital mutilation and cutting government fact sheet. Make sure you open this link and read it. And so once you're done, make sure you check this checkbox. A lot of people never do that and they try to submit and they are not able to submit. So make sure you click on this checkbox, and once you're done with that, I think everything will be ready and it will be easy for you. So once you check that box, the sign and submit button here will be active. And once you submit that, you are done with everything. And once you're done with everything, you have to wait. I mean, you get your confirmation number, and I mean the confirmation page, and once you get your confirmation page, make sure you print it out because you might need it at the interview stage, okay? So make sure you have your confirmation page, and I'll show you a sample of a confirmation page right there. It should be looking something to do with this. Not exactly like this, but something that looks like this. Make sure you print it out and have it on your interview date. Another sample is there. Another sample maybe right there. So that's how those uh confirmation page looks like, and make sure you have it printed. Okay, I hope this video was helpful, and again, if you have a question on a specific topic you're not sure about how to go about it, please let me know in the comment section. And remember, when you're filling your DS-260, please, you fill your DS-260, you the winner and also your the relatives. So make sure you have added anyone you're traveling with, okay? And once you have, if you have like a group, a family of five, you need to have filled 5 DS-260, okay? So gather all the necessary information, get the passports, get everything, and everything will be fine with you, okay? And with that being said, thank you for watching and see you in our next video.